Coach Cris James, assistant coach, North Carolina State University. Thank you for taking the time to be with me today. I'm going to fix this real quick. What a season for the Wolfpack. Made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Have a player here today that had a tough loss, but let's go ahead and recap the season if you can.
Yeah, look, I think our kind of idea was to continue to make progress. We had a good first year last year with Kyle and I, and I think we wanted to kind of continue to elevate the program, and I think we feel like we did that. I think we feel like we were pretty close to maxing out our season this year. Went into the NCAA tournament ranked 19. And so, we were pretty generally happy with that. I think we were really close towards the end of the season with Wake Forest, who was in the national finals. We were really close in our second round NCAA match with Tennessee. And, so had we been able to get over the hump in one or two of those matches, I think we would have had an amazing season.
Well, that goes into my second question. You just mentioned the conference tournament. So a tough loss in round number 2 to Wake Forest. We can call that the semifinals. What did you build up? What kind of confidence was there leading into the NCAA tournament after knowing that you had a chance to beat the number 4 team in the nation?
Yeah, I don't know if anything necessarily changed. I think it's just with us, it's all about the process, and we especially our senior group, I think, had not done as well, a couple of years ago, and I think those guys just sort of continued to build and make progress. Georgi Malashev in particular, down the stretch, he was in position to win in the third set when the match stopped against Tennessee. He got the win against Wake Forest, beating a guy that he'd lost to earlier in the season. So he was a guy for sure that stepped up in terms of his level of confidence, particularly in those big matches.
Let's talk about this platform here this week. What does the NCAA individual championships do for the team? What does it do for the future?
I guess it's hard to say. I think if you have somebody that has a great performance, if Alexi could have gone out here and made a deep run, then I think that gives him confidence. I think it always is a confidence builder for your team if you have one of the elite guys in the country up at the number 1 spot, and you feel like you go into any match with a chance to win at the number 1 spot is a big deal. And obviously, in the ACC and with our schedule we played 4 of the top 6 or 7 teams in the country this year just in the regular season, and so all those teams are for the most part going to have an elite guy, and Alexi is one of those guys, or is right there trying to become one of those guys. And so today he had a tough one. He played the number 1 seed first round. Guy's been 25-0 in dual matches this spring, and probably didn't have our best level today, but the other guy doesn't really let you breathe either. You've got to be able to bring it from the beginning of the match, and we weren't able to do that today.
Well, I think it does help, future recruits and the current players see if one of the NC State players consistently can get to this individual tournament. That probably brings a good culture and some confidence to those guys. 2 more questions for you. Yep. What does it take for the Wolfpack to improve on the number 19 ranking in the country, second round in the NCAA tournament in 2020? What is it going to take next year to improve on that?
I think just continuing to build. We're, like I said earlier, we're about process at NC State and just trying to max out these guys individually, get them better. We're going to have a very different team next year. We return the majority of the heart of our team. We've got Alexi coming back, and then we've got our number 3, 4, and 5 guys all coming back as well. But the thing is going to look different. We lost 4 seniors, and those guys all made big contributions for us, and they all got better, and those guys were all really good teammates as well. So next year we'll be incorporating some young guys, but I think the track that we've been on, the guys that we have individually made a lot of progress. Robert Terzak this year went from a guy who had some talent, who wasn't really ready for prime time in a sense, had some growing to do in terms of practice, in terms of knowledge of the game, and towards the end of the year started to really come on, beat Wake Forest handily, beat Tennessee both at the 4 spot. Last year he was a average number 6 for us, so big progress from him. Tadas Babelis. That guy has a chance to be one of these elite college players if he puts everything together. Down the stretch this year, his only losses were against Wake Forest, Virginia, and who was the other one? Texas. So he lost a couple matches, all to top 5 teams in the country.
You just named 3 teams that competed within at least the Elite 8 and one national championship team. Final question for you, Coach James. If I'm a prospective student athlete, tennis player, why NC State?
Well, I think in the 2 years that Coach Kyle and I have been there, I think we've shown, look, we went from 66 in the rankings when we took over to 29 and now up to 19. And, you can look at the track record of our developing players, and I think that's sort of the number one thing. Kyle and I have both lived the pathway. We went from junior tennis through college tennis, pro tennis. We've done it as coaches as well. And so if there's somebody out there who, is hopeful to be a pro tennis player and wants to come and get a lot better, that's where we feel like we have a big advantage and where we can do a really good job with somebody. So
it's a pretty good place to live. I can attest to that. Coach James, thank you so much. Hey, good luck in the Raleigh Pro League, sir.
Thank you.
I hope you do well. All right.
Hope our team does well.
That's right. There he is, Cris James, assistant coach, NC State University.